Welcome friends to the series of lectures in sociology. Topic of our discussion is hierarchy of sciences as propounded by the Auguste Comte. Hierarchy of science is regarded second most important theory of Auguste Comte after his law of three stages. As we know that Auguste Comte is credited as being the father of sociology. Philosophizing about the humans and society had of course long been a preoccupation of lay people and scholars alike. But it was Comte who advocated a science of society and coined the term sociology. Comte was preoccupied with propagating order and harmony out of chaos created by the French Revolution. Comte's primary preoccupation centered around the improvement of society, and such improvement, he reasoned, necessitated the development of a theoretical science of society. To establish this science was Comte's lifelong mission. The new science that Comte sought to establish, he first called social physics. Later, when he thought that the term had used by someone, he coined the word sociology, a hybrid of Latin and Greek words. It was to be patterned after the natural science, not only in its empirical methods and epistemological underpinnings, but also in the functions it would serve for humanity. The use of term social physics made it clear that Comte sought to model sociology after the hard sciences. His claim of bringing sociology in line with natural science was to be justified. For this, Comte propounded the philosophy of positivism, which in simple terms means the application of scientific methods in studying the social world. Through the approach of positivism, a researcher can discover the laws about the social world, which in turn can bring order and progress in society. In addition, Comte propounded the theory of hierarchy of science to justify the claim of bringing the sociology in line with the natural sciences. The main aim of the classification of knowledge by Comte was to prepare the background and basis for sociology. To make sociology a positivist science was to be justified. In order to legitimate the sociology as a science of society, Comte laid the foundation of positivism and established a relationship between the various natural sciences and sociology in his theory of hierarchy of sciences. On the basis of his classification, he determined the methodology of sociology. Comte's aim to put forward his theory of sciences is not only to demonstrate the need for creating sociology, but also to provide a foundation for sociological concept of historical unity. Besides this principle proved helpful in establishing the relationship of sociology with other sciences. Hierarchy of science helps in understanding the relationship of sociology with other sciences. What the theory of hierarchy of science is, let's discuss. It is the classification of sciences as propounded by the Auguste Comte in a hierarchical order. In this hierarchical classification of sciences, mathematics lies at the bottom while sociology lies at the apex. Hierarchy of sciences provides a way to do justice to the diversity of sciences without thereby losing sight of their unity. This classification also makes Comte the founder of the philosophy of science in the modern sense. From Plato to Kant, reflection on science had always occupied a central place in philosophy, but the science had to be sufficiently developed for their diversity to manifest itself. It was thanks to his education at the École Polytechnique that Comte from 1818 began to develop the concept of philosophy of science. The hierarchy of science is the Comte's second best known theory. This is intimately connected with the law of three stages. Law of three stages is Count's famous law, in which Count identifies three basic stages and proceeds to argue that human mind, people through the maturation process, all branches of knowledge, and the history of the world all pass successively through three stages. Each stage involves the search by the human beings for an explanation of the things around them. Based on this law, Kant had developed a hierarchy of science in a schematic order. According to this hierarchy, some sciences have passed through the first two stages and had reached the final stage, that is positive stage, while few are yet to reach the final stage. According to Kant, every branch of knowledge progresses through these three stages, namely theological stage, metaphysical stage, and positive stage in their process of evolution. In this, each successive discipline grew out of the preceding one. As for Kant, each successive stage or sub-stage in the evolution of human mind necessarily grew out of the preceding one. The constitution of new system cannot take place before the reconstruction of the old, and before the potentialities of the old mental order have been exhausted. What was the serial order of science in the hierarchy of sciences? Let us discuss. In the hierarchy of science, Auguste Comte presented in sequence a philosophy of mathematics, of astronomy, of physics, of chemistry, of biology, and of sociology. Comte's classification is meant not to restore a chemical unity, but to avoid the fragmentation of knowledge. Thanks to it, the sciences are related to one another in an encyclopedic scale and goes from the general to the particular and from the simple to the complex. Moving from mathematics to sociology, generality decreases and complexity increases. Besides, dependency also increases. Moving from mathematics to sociology, the principle of increasing dependence has a special feature. The facts pertaining to different sciences differ in complexity. Some facts are simple, while some are complex. Complex facts depend upon the simple facts. Simple facts are general and are universal. It is on this basis that Kant has classified various sciences. Complex sciences are dependent upon the simple sciences and in turn form a base for more complex sciences. Based upon the principle of increasing complexity, decreasing generality, and increasing dependence, Kant has presented a hierarchical presentation of various sciences. In this hierarchical scheme, most simple science is placed at bottom, followed upward by more and more complex and dependent science. Kant states any kind of knowledge reaches the positive stage early in proportion to its generality, simplicity, and dependence upon other departments. The science that is most simple, most general, and least dependent on other disciplines evolves first in the hierarchy of science, while the science which is more complex, more dependent, and less general as compared to the other disciplines evolves at last. The hierarchy, determined by the natural law of mental progress, is based on the order in which the positive method comes to be adopted in the disciplines. So the discipline that adopts positive methods earlier as compared to the other disciplines develops earlier. According to this view, hierarchy of science represent the evolution of science from mathematics to sociology, that is, mathematics, astronomy, physics, chemistry, and biology, and finally the positive science of society, which is called sociology. Hence, astronomy, the most general and simple of all natural sciences, develops first. In meantime, it is followed by physics, chemistry, biology, and finally sociology. Each science in this series depends for its emergence on the prior developments of its predecessors in a hierarchy marked by the law of increasing complexity and decreasing generality. Each science in this series depends for its emergence on the prior development of its predecessors in hierarchy. The social science, the most complex and the most dependent for their emergence on the development of all others, are the highest in the hierarchy. As per the hierarchical order, sociology has not yet reached to the positive stage, but social science offers the attributes of a completion of the positive method. All the others are preparatory to it. The social sciences are at the apex of the hierarchy, for they enjoy all the resources of the entire sciences. The law of classification of the sciences also has a historical aspect. It gives us the order in which the sciences develop. For example, astronomy requires mathematics and chemistry requires physics. Each science thus rests upon the one that precedes it. Each science tended to absorb the one next to it on the grounds of having reached the positive stage earlier and more thoroughly. There lies also difference in the modifiability in facts in the sciences while moving from base to apex. More complex the science, more will be its facts modifiable. Simple science pertain to facts which are concrete and definite. The sciences in the hierarchy are briefly discussed as mathematics. Mathematics is the base of hierarchy of sciences. According to count, mathematics is the simplest as well as the most fundamental of all sciences. Mathematics has certain branches like algebra, arithmetic, geometry, and mechanics. All these are simple sciences and are not dependent upon other. Astronomy bifurcated science into main divisions, inorganic and organic. Further, he divided inorganic into astronomical and terrestrial. According to count, inorganic science are more uniform than organic science. On this basis, count placed inorganic science next to mathematics in order of definiteness and precision. Among the inorganic science, astronomy is the most developed. The facts of astronomy in terms of solar system and planets have undergone much less change than the facts of other sciences. This is why astronomy finds its place after mathematics in the hierarchy of science. Astronomy is dependent on mathematics and its branches. Physics, the next science which comes in the hierarchy of sciences, belongs to the division of terrestrial sciences and depends upon the astronomy and mathematics. Physics is much definite and certain than chemistry. It is based on the principles of mathematics and astronomy. The laws governing the solar system, planets, provide the basis for the study of physics and is also dependent on mathematics. Chemistry. In the terrestrial sciences, chemistry occupies second position. It is partly based on physics and partly on mathematics and finds its place in the hierarchy of science after the physics. Biology belongs to the organic sciences and has been placed in the hierarchy of science after the chemistry. The reason for this is biology makes use of laws studied in chemistry. The chemical properties form the basis of the physiology and function of plants and animals. Sociology. It lies at the apex of hierarchy and is the most complex science. Sociology depends upon all other sciences in the hierarchy and is much similar and dependent on the biology nearest science to it in the hierarchy. Sociology has not yet reached a positive stage, but social science offers the attributes of a completion of the positive method. All the others are preparatory to it. It is important for us to know the principles on which the classification of science was based. Just as mankind progresses only through determinate stages, each successive stage building on the accomplishments of its predecessors, so scientific knowledge passes through similar stages of development, but different science progress at different rates. Any kind of knowledge reaches the positive stage early in proportion to its generality, simplicity, and independence of the other departments. Hence, astronomy, the most general and simple of all other natural sciences, develops first. In time, it is followed by physics, chemistry, biology, and finally sociology. Each science in this series depends for its emergence on the prior developments of its predecessors in the hierarchy, marked by the law of increasing complexity and decreasing generality. From this, we can draw three basic principles of hierarchy of sciences. First one is increasing complexity, second one is decreasing generality, and third one increasing dependence. The hierarchy determined by the law of mental progress is based on the order in which positive method comes to be adopted in the discipline. The base of hierarchy is mathematics, followed by astronomy, because these are the sciences in which positive method comes to be adopted first. In time, they are followed by physics, chemistry, much later biology, and finally sociology. An important aspect that we need to understand is the relationship of sociology with other sciences. Although sociology has special methodological characteristics that distinguish it from its predecessors in the hierarchy, it is also dependent upon them. In addition to resources of interior sciences in the hierarchy of sciences, sociology also uses the historical method. The additional use of historical method is one aspect that distinguishes sociology from other sciences. Sociology is especially dependent on biology, the science that stands nearest to it in the hierarchy. What distinguishes biology from all the other natural sciences is its holistic character. Biology is considered as synthetic rather than analytic. Unlike physics and chemistry, which are analytic in nature and proceed by isolating elements, biology proceeds from the study of organic wholes. And it is this emphasis on organic or organismic unity that sociology has in common with the biology. There can be no scientific study of society either in its conditions or its moments if it is separated into portions and its divisions are studied apart. The only proper approach in sociology consists in viewing each element in the light of the whole system. In organic sciences, the elements are much better known to us than the whole which they constitute. So that in that case, we must proceed from the simple to the compound. But the reverse method is necessary in the study of man and society. Man and society as a whole being better known to us and more accessible subjects of study than the parts which constitute them. What was the position of sociology in the hierarchy of science? Let's know about this. In the hierarchy of science, sociology lies at the apex in the hierarchy of science. Sociology is the most complex, most dependent, and least general science in the classification. It has not reached the positive stage as compared to the other sciences in the hierarchy. But the sociology offers the attributes of completion of the positive methods. Sociology, therefore, has emerged as the most complex science and arose much later than other sciences. As a result, sociology studies more complex subjects than other disciplines. In this sense, the subject of study of the other sciences was relatively simpler than sociology. Kant accepted sociology as crown edifice of the hierarchy of science, in which he had in mind the general unifying nature of science. He was in fact not claiming any superior status to sociology. He recognized the need to bring all science into relationship to each other with the help of positive knowledge. At last, we can summarize the basic points of hierarchy of the sciences into few points. The hierarchical arrangement of sciences is based on the historical emergence and development. Second point is they are interdependent and interrelated to each other. Third one, based on their decreasing order of generality and the increasing order of complexity of their subject matter. Finally, the increasing degree of modification of the facts to study. Hope you have understood the lecture of today. Thank you so much.